Feeling overwhelmed by wellness buzzwords? What if real change wasn't about green smoothies or endless routines, but tiny habits, self-awareness, and connection? Listen on to uncover evidence-backed strategies that rewire your brain, transform your lifestyle, and bring deeper fulfillment. No gimmicks, just real life.
Please hit that subscribe button now and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Don't forget to check the description below for links to our trusted sponsors and ways you can support the show. Here's something that might surprise you. Studies show that 95% of people completely misunderstand what wellness actually means, thinking it's all about green smoothies and yoga poses. But the reality of true wellness is far more fascinating and complex than most of us realize.
That's such an eye-opening statistic, and it really highlights how we've oversimplified something that's actually quite nuanced.
You know what's really interesting about this? When we look at the latest research on wellness, it shows that self-awareness is actually the foundation of all meaningful health improvements. Recent studies indicate that people who practice regular self-reflection are 63% more likely to maintain positive lifestyle changes.
That makes me think about how many of us are actually practicing true self-awareness versus just going through the motions.
Well, that's exactly what caught my attention in recent findings. You see, while 82% of people say they're self-aware, only about 10 to 15% actually demonstrate what psychologists call authentic self-awareness, that ability to truly recognize and understand our patterns and triggers.
Oh wow, that's quite a gap between perception and reality. What do you think accounts for such a significant difference?
So here's what's fascinating. Researchers have found that our modern lifestyle actually creates what they call awareness interference. We're so bombarded with external stimuli that our internal monitoring system gets overwhelmed. Like, did you know that the average person checks their phone 262 times per day? That's literally once every 3.6 minutes we're awake.
That's really startling when you put it in those terms, and I imagine it has serious implications for our overall wellness.
Exactly right. And this is where it gets really interesting. Studies from the National Institutes of Health show that this constant external focus triggers what they call the stress cascade, a domino effect that impacts everything from our sleep quality to our digestive health.
Well, that certainly explains why so many wellness initiatives fail. We're treating symptoms without addressing the root cause.
You know, that's exactly what John Lamon's research revealed. His team found that successful wellness transformations almost always begin with what he calls the awareness foundation, a period of intentional self-observation before making any major changes.
That's fascinating. How long does this observation period typically need to be?
The data shows that most people need at least 21 days of consistent self-monitoring to establish reliable baseline patterns. But here's what's really interesting. Those who maintain this practice for 90 days or more report a 74% higher success rate in maintaining their wellness goals long-term.
Those numbers really drive home the importance of patience and consistency in this process.
And you know what else is fascinating? The latest neurological research shows that this kind of sustained self-awareness actually creates new neural pathways. We're literally rewiring our brains to be more attuned to our body's signals.
That's incredible. It really shows how our bodies and minds are so interconnected.
Speaking of interconnection, let's talk about something that really surprised me in recent wellness research. Studies show that environmental factors account for about 40% of our overall well-being. That's things like our physical space, social connections, and daily routines.
That's such a significant percentage. It really challenges the idea that wellness is just about individual choices.
Exactly. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Research from the Harvard School of Public Health found that people with strong social connections have a 50% higher chance of living longer than those with poor social relationships. That's a bigger impact than obesity, smoking, and high blood pressure.
Those findings really highlight how we need to think about wellness in a much broader context.
And you know what's particularly fascinating about this? When we look at successful wellness programs across different cultures, we see this common thread of community support. Like in blue zones, those regions where people regularly live past 100, social connection is consistently cited as a key factor in their longevity.
That really challenges our individualistic approach to wellness in Western culture.
It absolutely does. And speaking of cultural differences, Recent global wellness studies have shown something really interesting. Societies that prioritize collective well-being tend to have significantly better health outcomes across the board.
That's really compelling. How do these findings translate into practical applications for individual wellness journeys?
Well, the data suggests that the most successful approach is what researchers call the micro-integration method, making small, interconnected changes that ripple through different aspects of life. For instance, studies show that people who start with just 5 minutes of daily mindfulness often naturally progress to making better food choices and engaging in more physical activity.
That's such a manageable way to approach wellness transformation.
And here's what's really exciting about this approach. It has a success rate nearly 3 times higher than traditional all-or-nothing wellness programs. The key seems to be what researchers call the sustainable accumulation effect.
That makes so much sense. It's about building a foundation that can actually last.
Exactly. And as we wrap up, I think it's worth noting one final piece of research that really brings this all together. A recent longitudinal study found that people who approach wellness as a gradual, holistic journey report 85% higher satisfaction with their overall quality of life compared to those focusing on quick fixes or isolated changes.
That's such a powerful reminder about the true nature of wellness and what it takes to achieve it.
Well, thank you all for joining us on this deep dive into the science of wellness. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress and understanding.
And about recognizing that true wellness is a journey that encompasses every aspect of our lives.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wellness Lab Digest. If this episode helped you, here are 3 quick ways to support the show. 1. Subscribe to stay updated with fresh, body-loving wellness insights. 2. Share this episode with a friend who needs this today. 3. Comment below and tell us what topics you'd love to hear next. Want to do even more? Check the video description for ways to support the show. Stay curious, stay well, and we'll see you in the next episode.